Okay, in the last video, what we covered was just the basic if statement, and then we went over our examples. And if you remember, we had that example where we had to use the repeated flag when we were talking about doing repeated roots. And we had to use that repeated flag because we had two options. We either wanted to do a calculation or we wanted to display a message based on what coefficients were put in. And I told you there was a way around that, so this is the method we're going to use to get around having to use that flag. Alright, so this is going to cover if-else statements. So this is basically when we have a situation that requires two separate paths. Okay, so if you have two separate paths with two separate actions, we can use what's called the if-else to take care of that. And this is going to be very similar to the if statement we already covered, except for we're going to add a couple of things. Alright, so here's the form we have. So this first line is going to look exactly like what we did last time. So if, and then you'll have your condition statement. So you would have like if A is not equal to 0, for example, then you'll do action 1. The new thing we're going to add is this right here. So we're going to add this else. Okay, and then there's going to be an action 2 that comes underneath else. So let's walk through this in actual words so we know what it's doing. So we're saying if condition is true, do action 1, else, or otherwise, do action 2. Alright, so that's what it's saying. So we're going to do action 1 if this condition is true, otherwise we're going to come down and do this set of actions that are showing up beneath the else term. Okay, and then we need to close this with end. Alright. So like it says down here, if the condition is true, we're going to do action 1. If the condition is false, then we go to action 2. So in the one if block, we have two different paths we can take. So that gets rid of the need for that flag that we had in that last example. Okay, because we could just do action 1 or do action 2. All right, so this is kind of an either or situation. So you're either going to do action 1 or you're going to do action 2. So this is actually very helpful, and you'll find that you use it quite a bit. So let's go back to that retail sales price example that we had. This time we're going to add the requirement that if the shirt is not on sale, a message is going to be displayed. So before, we didn't do anything if the shirt wasn't on sale. All right, we just didn't calculate a sales price. So now let's add this separate path on here. So let's get our input, which is the price. Then let's check and see if the price is greater than 35, because remember that was the cutoff point for the sale. So if the price is greater than 45 or 35, then we're going to calculate the sales price. So the sale price would be the price times 0.75, because it was going to be 25% off. And then you can do your f(printf) statement. So just state the sale price at 25% off is the dollar, and then do the %.2f, right? Because we want 2 digits past the decimal place. This is a floating point number. And then put your /n, so it moves the cursor down. And the variable sale is what goes in here for the dollar amount. All right, so this will be our first action that we'll take if price is greater than 35. All right, so if this happens to be false, though, we need to display that statement. So we're going to say else, f(printf), shirt is not on sale. All right, make sure you put that /n there. And then we want to end that statement. Okay, so we have two different sets of actions we could do. We're either going to do these first two actions or we'll do this last one. So let's see what happens when I ran this. So I ran it, it said enter the price of the shirt, I put $10. Okay, so $10, let's walk through this. Is 10 greater than 35? No, so this would be a false statement. So since this is false, we're going to skip over these actions and we're going to come down and do this action. All right, so it displayed shirt is not on sale. So then I ran it again, and this time I put in $50. Okay, now 50 is greater than 35, so this is true. So we're going to do these two action statements here, and it's going to calculate the sales price. So then it tells you that your sales price is $37.50. Okay, so now you have one block of code. It'll do two different things depending on what the user inputs for that price. Sometimes we're going to have cases where we have more than two paths, so let's look at that, how that would be structured. This is going to be called nested if-else statements. Okay, and they're nested because you have if-else statements stuck inside of other if-else statements. Okay, and these can be really hard to read if you get a lot of them, and you're going to have lots of in statements. All right, so here let's just walk through this example. So if condition A is true, we're going to do action A. Else, then we go to a whole new set. If condition B is true, we're going to do action B. Else, if condition C is true, we'll do action C. Else, and then we'll have our final action. So this action down here, this last one, this gets done if all of these other conditions are false. Okay, so once you hit a true condition, it would do that action. Like if condition A is true, it would do action A, and then it would jump to this end statement. Okay, so this is kind of confusing, I think. You can do it, but it's kind of confusing. So the next slide, I'll show you an easier way to type all this out. This way right here. So this is using if, else, if. So this does the exact same thing as the code in that last slide, but if you notice, this looks a lot cleaner. It's easier to read, it's easier to follow. And another benefit, you only have to have one in statement. Okay, the other one we had like 3 in statements. So this is typically how people are going to type these out in MATLAB. They're just going to use the if with the else if. So let's read through this. So again, if the condition A is true, we're going to do action A. Else, if condition B is true, we'll do action B. Else, if condition C is true, we do action C. And then this else here is kind of like otherwise, we're going to do this final action. So basically you're just working your way down top to bottom, and you're trying to figure out which condition is true. Once you hit a true condition, it's going to do the action for that condition, and then it will end your if block. All right, so that's what it's doing. And another thing to keep in mind, if you have this, if it reaches condition B and this is true, it does action B. It never checks condition C, okay, because it automatically, after action B, it automatically jumps down to here. All right, so keep that in mind. But this is an easy way to put in more than 2 actions, okay? And this else here, this is kind of like your last choice. If nothing else worked out, you're going to do this. Okay? All right, let's go through the examples.